Joe Biden back in the day. He was just a senator. I used to be on a first name with the president. I don't think you would remember me now, but I used to be on a first name basis with the president. Now Terry.
Sound check 1 2 3 4. Sound check 1 2 3 4. No Haiti? No Haiti? No Haiti? No, for you. No Haiti. We're going to send you to Haiti. You told me yesterday you might have to go to Haiti.
Oh, Haiti. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. No. Thank God.
Good.
Thanks, bud.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the afternoon Joint Operations Media Briefing. If we can have some silence in the back, please, now that we can commence so the speakers can concentrate up here. Thank you very much, and I welcome to the podium Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Campo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our recovery operation continues throughout the day 15. We're here at the end of day 15. Since our last briefing, our first responders have continued to work on the pile with great skill and ongoing urgency. They're using the heavy equipment, the heavy machinery, and their manpower and woman power to sift through the rubble. And today, they have recovered 4 more victims. The total number of confirmed fatalities is now 64. There are 40 identifications and 39 next of kin identifications. 200 people are accounted for, 76 are still potentially unaccounted for. Our detectives have continued, as they've done for the last 2 weeks, to audit and verify every single report that has been received, and they're working to identify those who've recovered, who are recovered as quickly as possible. So reporting these numbers has not gotten any easier. Please join me in keeping these families in your prayers. Today we did bring some of the families who have lost loved ones to the site for a visit at their request. We held a moment of silence with our first responders. They paused their work on the pile briefly to honor the victims and their families, and they received an aerial salute by the Miami-Dade County Police Department. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, is a key partner on the site, as you've heard, and I want to take this opportunity to thank them. They have been working very hard. They've brought in incredible personnel, expertise, and support, and they have tagged 182 specimens from the evidentiary debris at the original collapsed structure, an additional 32 from the demolished building. Their teams have been scanning the site with LiDAR twice a day and flying drones to collect essential imaging that will support the fact-finding process. The public also has a very important role to play in this investigation. So if you have any photos, if you have any videos related to the collapse, please visit NIST's online portal at nist.gov/disaster-failure-studies. You can scroll down to the Champlain Tower South collapse link to submit those materials. The wonderful team that is staffing the Family Assistance Center is continuing to provide critical services to the family in need of care and compassion, and just today they served 33 families. So that brings our total to almost 200 families served at the Family Assistance Center. I want to thank all of the organizations that have joined us there. It's over 25 who are on site today. It's It's truly a community-wide response, and everyone has gone above and beyond to service the community's families during this incredibly difficult moment. La operación de recuperación continúa durante el día 15 y hoy recuperaron a 4 más víctimas. El número total de muertes confirmado ahora es 64, con 40 identificaciones y 39 notificaciones de familiares más cercanos. 200 personas están contabilizados y 76 personas desaparecidas. Informar estos números al mundo nunca va a ser fácil. Por favor, continúa a mantener a todas las familias en sus oraciones. Hoy trajimos a algunas de las familias que han perdido a sus seres queridos al sitio para una visita a petición suya. Mantuvieron un momento de silencio con nuestros socorristas. Gracias y seguimos orando.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett.
Good evening. Today I spent some time with the team identifying the victims being found as a result from a question from a family member who was worried that the process was stopping each day and resuming the next day. I was assured that the identification and preparation for family notification is going on around the clock, so that was comforting to the family member. It was moving today to hear a representative from the fire department tell the families at the family meeting this afternoon that the Miami-Dade Fire Department will not stop working until they've gotten to the bottom of the pile and recovered every single one of the family's missing loved ones. It's what we've said all along, and they've stuck to their commitment, and I'm very, very thankful for that. The speaker further said that I can assure you we are not stopping, and your missing children are coming back to your family. This is exactly the message the families wanted to hear, and they expressed gratefulness for that message. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for our Creole interpreter, Leonel Letterboard.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. Je dis encore, c'est dernière partie dans la journée, 15e journée, côté équipe nous continue de travail avec recherche et récupération. Je dis encore, ils ont découvert 4 autres victimes, ça porte quantité à 64 et nous gagnons à peu près 200 que nous confirmons que nous gagnons avec nous et gagnons 76 personnes que nous pouvons trouver ou pouvons joindre trace. Les détectives continuent à travailler pour vérifier et puis pour être capable sûr que quantité de monde que nous dit qu'il peut trouver ou effectivement être dans le building là lorsque le building là est tombé. Je dis à tu as un travail qui est fait parce que la famille a fait demande pour être capable de visiter et nous sommes capables de permettre d'arriver sur place et prendre un moment pour te honorer les gens qui disparaissent. L'Institut national, normes avec technologie, continuer à travailler pour être capable de réunir tout ça qui vient comme preuve et travail ça est capable de permettre nous de déboucher sur une issue qui est encore meilleure. Pour le moment, le public là a demandé pour contribuer, participer autant que vous capable si vous avez une photo qui est disponible, photo ça est capable de partager sur le site internet nist.gov/disaster après tirer, vous pouvez utiliser l'information que nous avons là, pour prendre le nom, nist.gov/disaster-failure-studies. Et vous descendre plus bas pour chercher le building là lui-même, qui c'est le building qui est tombé là. Champlain Tower South Collapse et là il y a soumettre photo qui est disponible et photo ça est capable un bon moyen pour être capable de continuer le travail sur l'enquête qui a fait. Merci infiniment.
Thank you, Mr. Leverbull, and also joining us, we have Deputy Incident Commander Charles Surreal, Miami-Dade Police Department Director Freddie Ramirez, and the Miami-Dade Fire Chief Alan Kaminsky to be able to answer questions. And we'll begin the question and answer session now, ma'am.
Mayor Burkett, please. Wondering if you can give us some more information on the, I'm not even sure if I have the right term, the geotechnology testing, and also if there's been testing over the CCL.
The CCL? Okay. I spent about an hour today with Alan, our engineer, and Kilsheimer, and he is actively going through all the plans. We've got the samples. We've taken concrete samples. We've taken ground penetrating radar samples. Those have been sent back to his offices for modeling right now. We are going to go ahead and get samples of the concrete from the collapsed building very shortly, and we are going to compare those samples to the samples we have pulled out of the building on the north end, the Champlain North. We are, we're talking to the residents. We're trying to get to an answer as quickly as possible. With respect to the geotechnical, that's basically an analysis of the soil and the components of the soil, the composition of the soil. That's very important right now. There are ways that can be done. We're looking at the reports that we have for the collapse site, and we're going to try to do some studies of the soil underneath the Champlain North building. That's coming, but we're just gearing up for that, and I expect in the next 3 or 4 weeks we'll have a lot more information that we can provide on what the status is.
We're going to go here, followed by the Associated Press, and then Miami Herald.
Well, back in CBS, well, I'm not sure if this is back to answer it, but what efforts are being made to help first responders deal with the emotional toll this is taking? Yesterday, just going to the prayer and seeing some of the efforts that the prayer session, a lot of them will take it as emotional. Anything being done to help them?
So we very much know that this is extremely emotionally difficult for everyone, and the first responders who are on the scene, clearly. And we do have excellent services for them in the departments, and we are setting up stations. They also, when they take rests from the pile, they're assessed to see how they're doing. As well, of course, we have many, many visiting groups with their comfort dogs on the scene, and others to provide support. But we're very mindful of this. I've directed the county departments to put together a comprehensive plan to be sure that everybody has access to the support that they need.
Associated Press.
Can I add to that? The town of Surfside, our police department has also mandated that all of our officers spend time with a counselor, and I know that that's ongoing right now, so we're doing that also.
Thank you, Mayor. And actually, Chief Kaminsky is on sacred.
So obviously mental health in our line of work is very, very important. It goes hand in hand just based on what we encounter on a daily basis. Internally within the fire department as well as police, we have what we call critical incident stress debriefings. So we have several teams here, and that is their primary goal, their primary focus. So when task force members come off, a long day at work, they meet and talk with them. We also have them embedded at our fire stations for the original units that responded. So that's an ongoing process. So we also have licensed clinicians that are part of that team. So it's a collaborative effort that we're constantly monitoring and really focusing on the mental health of our personnel.
This is a hard one to ask, and I don't know if it's for the fire chief or the police chief. Either one of them might know. If you find remains and you do DNA testing and you match it up, do you count that person then as deceased at that moment, or do you wait until you find more of the body?
Once we find a family member in that condition, it immediately goes to the medical examiner's office. Once we have a positive ID, we consider that at this stage as a loss of life. And notifications are made by our homicide personnel in person.
Miami Herald, followed by Brian Anthony.
Also for the director,
Yes.
Director Ramirez, can you take us through what has changed in the operation now that your department has taken over in terms of recovery? What's different on site with machinery, and are there different dogs in there? Walk us through what the policing role is now.
Nothing has changed. Our homicide, our crime scene personnel, our lab personnel have been there since the beginning, even during the rescue phase. The momentum, the tempo is still the same. What I could tell you, one evolution that we're doing and we brought up the topic of wellness, we're switching out some of our crime scene personnel. Some of the local municipalities are going to provide their crime scene so we could have that wellness component, because just like the firemen or homicide personnel, our crime scene people, they see a lot of things that are, that are very sad, like we all are, and it's very important to keep. This is going to be a long process, and it's important that we keep that tempo and we keep our people fresh and we look out for them, make sure that they're operational.
Brian Enton, follow over here.
Can you give us an idea of the progress that you've made? Are you halfway through the pile? Are you a quarter of the way?
Unfortunately, I don't have the exact numbers to let you know. It's still the grids per se. So, definitely we're utilizing heavier equipment. So with that delay earn process, we are making progress in regards to floor levels. It's still separated throughout each grid per se. So it's not one even level throughout. But we're definitely have made progress in the sense of removing a few floors.
Ma'am, followed by USA Today.
Since then, it's a recovery mission right now. Are you going to speed up? Do you have a more specific estimated time frame for the recovery?
We don't have an exact specific time frame yet. We are expecting the progress to move at a faster pace with our recovery efforts, but there's also a search component as well. So there is certain aspects, as we're going through. So unfortunately, we don't have an exact time frame, date-wise, how long this is going to take.
And a lot of families are waiting in this area, and you're providing temporary housing for some of them. So how long is this assistance going to be?
We're not planning to end the assistance. We encourage everyone to apply at the Family Assistance Center for help. We have FEMA for those who are eligible. We have Red Cross. We have the private philanthropic donations, and we're here to support these families through the entire process.
USA Today.
Hi, I'm Brooke with USA Today. First of all, thank each and every one of you for your leadership and advocacy. I have a question that some of us are still kind of asking, which seems to be unclear. I hate to even ask, but in the first hour jumping in the collapse, there was a 15-year-old child that was rescued, and our understanding is that he has survived. Has there been any other victims that were physically pulled out of the collapse site that are still alive?
No, there's not. There was another victim that was removed simultaneously in that same period, and unfortunately was deceased.
You mentioned that several, 180 specimens were obtained through findings. Anything else that you can add about what that means or what they are, what types of specimens they gathered?
In terms of specifics, they get critical components of the structure that they feel through their discipline that are important later on for the investigation and the review that'll be going on, and all that evidence that's documented is transported to our evidence collection side, cataloged by our personnel, and as we move along this process, they'll be further analyzed.
Well, hotels are buildings. They have to go through the exact same process that any other building would go through. And so, as you know, the county has done their review and has found one building through that review with some balconies that were compromised, and other cities are doing their own reviews. So definitely hotels are part of the process.
Thank you, folks. I think